Hello and welcome to the item guide. In this video we're going to look at Yuri's laser. So what it looks like, basically this. And the way it works is that whenever you use laser, you can't move or anything like that unless an enemy is able to knock you away somehow, either with melee or anything like that, because Yuri's jetpack gets cancelled when he gets hit with melee. But when using laser, whatever you're doing, you stop and do that. So even if you're falling where I have jetpack disabled, I can cancel my jump by using laser, or if I'm using that, anything like that. So laser, you're static. You can't move around and use laser. You can't use laser and mine at the same time, like you used to be able to in the previous patch. That was some fun times there. So damage is 30, but there's a charge time of 0.5 seconds, and after that 0.5 seconds where you see that laser getting thicker, then it's doing 40. And the attack speed is 300, which means it's every 0.2 seconds you're doing damage, which I will try to demonstrate here. Oh, you haven't noticed yet, you're able to pick up any solar or health pickups off the ground as well. So this is why I'm playing on this map here. Just if you see some solar that's in a dangerous spot, you can use the laser and pick it up that way. So by using laser, it should be able to do damage every 0.2 seconds, as demonstrated. When it charges up, it does 30. But full charge, it does 40, like so. So the range is 9. That's 9, whatever that equates to. And you can aim in any direction you wish. This is, I believe this was optimized for controllers, as you can kind of tell. But it does knock off the ground. So you can't hit someone twice with the laser. It only works once, like so. I'll try and I'll prove that as well. So when I'm hitting these guys, it's only dealing that damage once. It is a piercing attack where it's a laser, heat laser, or anything like that, but if I were to bounce it off the ground, I won't be able to hit one person twice. So it just gives me more probability of hitting someone simply like that. Now, what else is there to take? So yeah, every 0.2 seconds, that's how much you do damage. And quite simply, so even with health pickups, you can pick that up. Or if you see solar laying around the place, gold or silver, you can pick that up as well. So, laser does have its uses, and we will go through the items left to right. Okay, starting off with the first item in the list, the giant monocle. 180 solar. This will add a range of an extra 2.4 to your 9, so 11.4. So with 9 being this, like so, we can actually, like that. This is what our default range is right now. It works out quite well. It keeps you out of danger or anything like that. But if you wish to have some more, if you're trying to get the last hit on somebody and they just get out of the way before you get the last hit on them, you can increase that if you wish. So let's see, what's a good measure? About here, that's about how far 9 reaches. Like that. So if I increase that by 2.4, it will increase by that. So not a whole lot. But with the high attack speed of the laser, you are able to sneak in quite a few hits for someone gets out of that range with 0.2 seconds, so getting about 5 hits per second if you're able to lock on the entire time. Having an extra 0.2 range can really make a difference if you're trying to get that last hit or just stay out of danger a little bit better. Also combining with warp and mine deploying, it can work out quite well. So if you're trying to get some last hits or just trying to stay out of danger a bit better, extra range might be for you. Okay, the next item, instant charge battery, can be bought twice, 210 solar each time. This will increase the attack speed of the laser to 20%. So with default being 30 or every 0.2 seconds, if we increase that by 20% each time, that will add an extra 60. So going up by default just for a frame of reference. So theoretically, I'm doing damage every 0.2 seconds, as you can see. And if I am to increase that by 20%, bring up to 360, which would mean it does damage every 0.16 seconds. So it's not a great deal, but every 0.16 seconds you are dealing damage. So like so. It does look a little bit faster and able to deal an extra hit per second. I think it does, well, 5, then another one, then another one. If you look into the knots builder, you can see how much damage you're dealing per second. You're basically adding in an extra hit per second with that extra 20%. So this being 360 or every 8.16 seconds. Now if I'm able to increase that by another 20%, 40 in total, it would bring up to 420 for attack speed, or 60 divided by 420 would make that 0.14. So it doesn't sound like it's much of an upgrade, but that's how much it's doing right there compared to the default. So if it's a matter of just trying to hit someone as much as you can before they are able to get away, where you can't move, like I'm hitting the keyboard, it's not doing anything, even jumping, not doing anything either, you can combine the two and just try to get close. But if you're trying to just get the last hit with the laser, or just try to deal as much damage as you can before they're able to get away, maybe the extra attack speed might be for you. If damage isn't quite cutting it, just try and deal as much damage as much as you can before that happens. So with the, I think just as this is the highest attack speed in the entire game, so adding extra percentage to that can work in your favor. Just have to have the right opportunity to strike. Okay, Resonance Amplifier can be bought twice, 140 solar each time. This will increase the maximum damage by 10. So what that actually means, whereas the charge time to reach maximum damage is 40, it will increase that maximum by 10 each time. But it doesn't just jump from 30 to 50, I don't think. So we will go through this just to give you an idea of how this item works, because trying to remember the basics of it. So that's the default, 30 to 40 every 0.5 seconds. And with one stage, works like so. And it does have damage to turrets as well, so do bear that in mind. So with that one upgrade, it does 15, 20, 25. So every 0.5 seconds, it adds an extra stage. Doesn't increase the base damage by anything, it's just only maximum damage. Like so, 30, 40, 50. Like that. So it takes a second, it literally takes a second to charge up. So if you're combining this with Time Warp, this might work well in your favor, especially with this item. But this will allow you to add some extra damage if you have time to let it warm up. So where I'm not really doing anything right now, maybe I would prefer to be using the mines right now, like so. So it might buy some time if you're not doing anything or don't have to move around too much. It does have its fallbacks of you might have to be moving around while it's charging up. It just depends on what your situation is. Should you be on the move, planting mines, trying to slow down enemies, or are you okay with what you're doing? Can you just stay here and keep doing that? So that second upgrade theoretically should be a second and a half to warm up. 30, 40, not quite there, but 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 stages. So 2 seconds in total. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 30 to 60 every 0.5 seconds. So it takes a little while to charge up, but as you do notice, the laser gets thicker and I'm able to deal more damage per second because of the extra maximum damage. So it doesn't increase my minimum whatsoever. That's based on these items here. But if you're willing to wait and if you have time to kill, you can then allow this to warm up, get thicker, and get more powerful. Depends. Purely depends on, I keep on repeating it. But the fallback is you might not have enough time if an enemy is using the burst attack and it cancels out your ability that way. So it does have its fallback, but you are able to deal some delicious damage if you can, 1, stay in range, and 2, buy enough time to let it warm up. So do bear that in mind before you choose to buy this item. Okay, Fly Swatter, 185 solar. This increase your damage in total by 10. So rather than being 30 then 40, it should be 40 then 50 if I got it right. So if you can't put in the money for the Hubble's lens, increase by 20, or if you want to combine damage, if you're going for more damage and build, that is something you can do. But this is just half of this pretty much. But this is one of the most expensive items that Yuri can buy. So with default being 30 to 40, if I get the Fly Swatter, it will be 40 and then 50. And it will stay like that until I get rid of the laser. But it has to warm up from 40 to 50 as it does. So if you want that extra little starting ground, you can work with that, have that be in your favor. Maybe get some last hits a little bit better. But it just gives you a little less time to spend on clearing lanes or just working away at enemies or anything like that. So the benefit I can see, if you want more damage but you don't have the time or money to put into this, maybe you need to put in something else, but you just need a little bit more damage to get the job done. or if you're just going full out damaging build. That can be a lot of fun. I know that for a fact. So yeah, depends on what you're trying to go for, but this is just half of this pretty much. So do take that into mind. However, it is cheaper for half as much damage. Quite a bit. Okay, the item after this is Hubble's Lens. 360 solar, but this will increase the damage by 20. So rather than fly swatter being by 10, it's basically 2 of this put together. So default, again, 30 to 40, staying like that. If you're able to put the money down for this, it will be 50 to 60. So you're dealing quite a bit more damage that way. Able to get some actual damage. So the benefit, having more damage instead of... It depends on, if you just want more damage, the most I can get for one item slot, that is preferably the one to get. But if you're able to put that money down anyway, because you might want to buy some other items, or you might have to put some items down, because some of the items in Yuri's belt can cost quite a bit. So maybe you just don't have the time and or the money to put the money into this. It just depends. That's really the only fallback I can think of, but certainly something you can do if you want to pack more punch into that laser. Get some extra damage that way. Okay, the last item on the list is the Baby Yeti. 185 solar. This will add 20% slow to your basic attack. So if you want to combine it with this, or if you just want to, well, as you'll see, it applies a purple graphic to your laser, so enemies will know that you have the debuff applied. And whenever you have an enemy hit, it will have the debuff pop up above their head. So it's one of the best items to counter a Leon with, or a Gwillon if you're on there. Because if it shows an invisible enemy, that pop-up will show over their head. So if you're on Leon patrol, you're able to detect them that way. Just do a quick little of that if you suspect someone's nearby. Combined with range even, it can work quite well. That's the best use I have for it. It can work quite well with Time Warp as well. I used to use it a lot for slowing down droids, because that's the reason why I have the turrets disabled. So you can see how fast the droids are moving here. Moves them, slows them down a little bit. So it depends on if you're trying to get some more damage on somebody before they make a getaway. Because with the extra slow, and say the extra attack speed percentage on this item, you're able to get a little more damage on somebody because it takes longer for them to escape the range of your laser. So if you're going for that, something that devilish, something you can go for. Now, wait for these guys to be cleared out. So it kind of gives you the idea of, example here, like with laser or anything like that, you can crawl someone down nearly to a halt, especially if you build further into slow. So if you're going for a slow-centric build, you can do that, but I'm just focusing on items right now. So the biggest pros of Baby Yeti is, well, exposing Leons, or if you're on a Gwillon, one of the best items to get for that map. But even just for slowing down someone that you can get more damage out of them before they escape your range, something you could certainly do. It's just food for thought. So that's Yuri's laser as of Awesomenauts 2.8.2. If this changes in a future patch, I will try to update this as soon as I can. So hopefully you learned something. Thanks very much for watching. Gotta get them droids.